Claude Code is an agentic coding tool that understands your codebase, edits your files, runs commands, and integrates with your existing developer tools to help you get things done faster. It's available in your terminal, Visual Studio Code, the Claude desktop app, on the web, and JetBrains IDEs. But we'll be using it in the terminal for this video. If you've ever used Claude AI, you're probably wondering what the difference is between the two. Unlike Claude AI, Claude Code has direct access to your files, your terminal, and your entire codebase. So instead of copying and pasting code back and forth, it can go in and do all the work itself. The easiest differentiator is that Claude Code works as an AI agent. An AI agent is a software that can interact with this environment and perform actions to complete a defined goal. The most basic way this can be done is by having a large language model in a loop in real time. AI agents have access to things like tools, external services, or other AI agents to help it reach its predefined goals. So what does that actually look like? Well, here's a couple of examples. It can read and understand your code base. You can ask Claude Code to explain a feature or trace a bug throughout your code. Claude Code can execute your build script, run your tests, install packages, and use the output to decide what to do next. Claude Code can search the web. If it needs documentation on the latest API references, for example, it can do that for you. To use Claude Code effectively, it's important to know these concepts. First is the context window. Think of this as Claude's working memory. It can hold a lot, but not everything at once. This is where the agentic aspect of it comes in, finding strategic ways to find the answers within your codebase without storing your entire codebase into context. Second is that it asks for permission. By default, Claude Code will ask you before running commands or making changes to your codebase. You're always in control, whether that's being more hands-on or passive. Third, it can make mistakes. Just like any tool, Claude Code isn't perfect. It might misunderstand your intent, introduce a new bug, or over-engineer a solution.
Oops. Ciao. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another Space Tactics. My name is Antonio Strauss-Sarah, captain of Prisma and Space Mafia VTuber. Sorry, I had to get my drink. Hello. It's been a few days. Today is August 23rd, 2026, and we're back with a very long stream today. Trying to open this. This fucking drink, dude. Open sesame. There we go. Hello. Hi. Hope you're doing well. Yes, it's been a few days. Apologies for the radio silence. Well, I guess I haven't been radio silent per se, but definitely haven't been streaming. My sleep schedule's been all over the place. So I figured to make up for the last few days, we do a little impromptu streamathon, doing some different stuff. Figured I'd yap a little bit, and so Mr. Hiker, figured I'd yap a bit, and then we'll play some Danganronpa, and then some Nine Souls. Yippee. An 8-kilometer run last night. Nice. Yeah, a lot. Very busy. Very busy. I think I talked about this the other day. Um, but I'm thinking it's about time to move. Um, I think I'm gonna be staying with my mom for a few months. Um, just getting a lot of shit together. Life has been kicking my ass recently, so um, I don't know exactly when all that's gonna happen, but I think it's gonna happen pretty soon. Um, I was just like, you know what? I need I need to stay with family for right now because life is just a mess. Um, I don't think it'll affect me streaming. I still plan to stream and everything, but um, it might change frequency. I don't know. I don't know exactly what it will mean, but I will I will keep y'all updated. But yeah, that's the current situation. And also I just want to get away. I'm gonna get out of here, dude. This woman is wacky, wacko. So, you know, I want to get out. She's so obnoxious. Um, so that's my little life update. Um, I did a little yesterday. I went to my food bank. My local food bank had like a little farm, not farm. What am I thinking? Um, Danganronpa, does it have a character named Nagito? Yes, it does. Yes, the the famous Nagito Komaeda, who is often shipped with Sans. This is a fan game, so no Nagito, but yeah, he's in Danganronpa 2, which is getting a remake next year. So that's exciting. Um, I went to what is it called? Farm, not farm. Like, well, it is farm something farm. Farm. Why can I not think of what I was thinking? Funny enough, I only know Nagito because someone made a rap battle between him and Desmond from Smiling Friends. Interesting. Interesting. Um, which one is Desmond? I've only seen like a couple episodes of Smiling Friends. Is he the he's not the like grumpy red one, is he? Um, what the fuck am I thinking of? Farmers market. That's what I was thinking of. Yeah, they were having like a farmers market event. Um, he's the old guy who has a gun pointed to his head. Oh, okay. I don't know if I know him. Um, actually, no. I think I do know what you're talking about. Um, it's in the first episode. I think I do know who you're talking about. Um, anyway, yeah. I went to the farmers market and it was crazy because there was like a line. I was already like, I guess they were running late because I got there like 20 minutes after it started, but the line hadn't even like started moving yet. There was a line, and oh my god, it was like a bloodbath, dude. It's crazy. Um, obviously like free food, yeah, we would go crazy for it. Um, I didn't get I didn't get anything like super crazy, honestly. I got like I because usually the farm that At food bank, I usually get like dinner stuff, but I didn't really get anything. Got a couple pastries, and also like a huge pack of Diet Pepsi that I was like lugging around, which was a mistake. Um, but uh, yeah, I got some good stuff. But there was this one lady. It was very uncoordinated, and I don't know. Um, like it's whatever because it's free food, right? But their vegetables there, you would probably notice their vegetables are bigger than the ones at your everyday shop. Yes, yeah, there was some vegetable. I got some corn, some potatoes. Um, they had a few different things. I I didn't get everything, but um, I posted on Twitter the other day. I posted on Twitter yesterday. Gave me like this huge bag of shredded cheese, which honestly I am grateful for because I am always using shredded cheese for everything. So that is a big staple for me. Just know because when we do our small farm, we get huge vegetables. Oh yeah, got some apples. I was clearly not as prepared as some people were. Some people had like luggage, like those like luggage boxes. Um, they had kids with like backpacks. And they're just like shoveling stuff in there. Um, I was one of the last like people waiting in line, so I didn't get. I probably didn't get because I saw one girl. This one woman had like a whole box of like meat. I was like, damn, they really they probably should have silver beet? What is silver beet? I don't have any place to grow anything right now. Um, this one woman had like a whole box of just like was in meat. I was like, okay, girl, leave some for the rest of us. I lose. Why am I getting Spanish ads? I don't know. Do you speak Spanish? I get Spanish ads sometimes too, and it's like kind of a crazy like it's like oh okay this is Spanish. Um, I watch gay sexy white boys. Right, right, of course. I speak a little Spanish. Um, oh, I want to show you guys something funny. This is I got this idea. I want to make sure to credit her because I don't know if she's the first person, but I saw this girl, Dear Ninette. I don't know if that's how you pronounce her name. Um, on Twitter. See ya. Um, she had like a top-down view of her chesticles. I was like, what if I did that with my man boobs? So, ta-da! Looks so flat. Okay, well, I can go rounder. I can go rounder. You want me to go rounder? Boing. But then I'm covering up like half the picture. So, is that what you want? You want my tiggle bitties in the like see how much it takes up now? That's why I have it like that. Oh, check this out. I got a little chocolate double chocolate. Love it. Love it. Double chocolate muffin. Oh, that's good. That's definitely chocolate. I don't know why I said that. That's definitely chocolate. It's very wet. I gotta feed the girls too. Um, that took me like 5 minutes tops. I literally just took my model and then reversed it. You might notice that there was some hexagonal mesh on it. That's because I did it's my updated model. So you'll see that very shortly, very soon. Um anyway, there's this one lady pissed me off, dude. It took a lot out of me to not like cuss her ass out, I swear to God. Cause she comes through this line. I don't know what happened. Like I guess she had like this whole like pack of Celsius drinks and then someone took it or something and like she left it somewhere and somebody took it. And so she was like yelling at one of the guys who was like, "Yeah, you're only supposed to have one." And she was like, "Well, I had a whole pack." And he's like, "Well, you're really only supposed to have one." And she just kept like arguing with them. And I was like, "Sis, like you're getting free food." And she's like, "What am I supposed to do with one drink?" It's like, okay, you know how many people are coming through here, you know, hoping to get free food, you know? It's like if you don't get like, you know, I'm bummed out that I didn't get a bunch of like meat stuff because everybody else took it before me. But like, you know, I'm thankful that I got something, you know. Um like I get it if you came all this way and you didn't really get much out of the experience, but like it's free, you know. If you're gonna have a whole like hissy fit over a box of Celsius, you know, I don't know what to tell you. Like it just rubbed me the wrong way. People really people will like get charity and then you know they'll look a gift horse in the mouth and be like, well, I wanted more. It's like, yeah, of course you did, but like it's free, you know. I don't know what to say, you know. These people are doing this out of the kindness of their own hearts. They're taking their Saturday morning off to do this. Like, why are you yelling at these people who are volunteering their time? It's just so like shitty. I don't know. It just made me so mad. Um, and there are also so many people that were just like cutting in line. It's just like, oh my god, this is a mess. But um, I made it out. I made it out alive. So it is what it is. Um, a lot going on here. I got a lot on the docket, dude. I might build some of it, or I might save some of this. What's not evergreen? Y'all heard of this new lie movie? I've been obsessed with this, dude. I've been so obsessed with this new lie movie. Um, I think it came out in China, and it's fucking it's it's gold, bro. It's gold. It's certified, a certified gem, dude. I gotta show y'all this shit. So this movie came out called New Lie. I think it's like Ox something in English. Um, and it is crazy. Oh, we're going to Facebook for this apparently. Bro, look at this. I'm obsessed. I love this. Apparently, it had like a budget of like $200. Oh, screen black. Oh, you know what? That's probably good because it showed my email. Okay, remind me not to go on Facebook. Oh, I'm on the wrong thing. Wait. No. God damn it. Why is it all on Facebook? I'm gonna have to cut this VOD later. Um. Okay, check this out. No, this is AI. Where's the actual? Why are they posting AI slop? It's not AI, by the way. The actual movie is not AI. I was not prepared for this, clearly. This came out last week, I think. And when it first came out, here, I'm gonna show y'all a clip. That's basically like the that's like the gist of the movie. What's the point of the movie? I don't know. So it came out. Apparently, it only made like $2,000. Um, and then people posted about it and were like, "Oh my god, this is so bad." Um, and then all of a sudden, people came in droves, dude. And now, the last time I checked, they said that the movie has grossed $4 million, equivalent, making it the most, like, in terms of like multiplicative value, it is the most profitable movie of all time. It made more, it is more profitable than Obsession. And think about how like crazy that movie popped off. It is officially, yes, the Screaming Cow made a made the most, it didn't make the most money, but it was the most profitable in terms of like its budget. Um just because of how many people saw like these clips on social media. And then people dug in and found out that apparently this movie, it's actually very wholesome because it was made by a mother and son over the course of like 5 years. Um, there was no like promotional material for it. Apparently, like once it started getting bigger, like people started also hi Kenna. Um, once people started like watching it, right? The theaters were like, oh, they didn't make any like promotional material. There were no posters or anything. So apparently all of the like cinema employees were like hand drawing new lie like posters to put, like, when you walk into the theater and they have like all the like posters on the walls. So they were doing that. So I don't know. I this just it's just such a wholesome little thing. I've seen so many clips of the movie and it seems very silly. Um, I do wonder what family is gonna do with all that money, because obviously like it's a lot of money. Um, so I wonder if they're gonna like invest, maybe they'll invest into like because I guess apparently this was also like a landscaping there was like a family owned landscaping business that was like we should make a movie. So I wonder if they're gonna like invest more into like movie production, you know? 'Cause I don't know, this is iconic. I think it's one of the best like feel good stories of the year, I think. Um Big fan of New Lie, W W Mother and Son Project, very iconic. I have to say, big big ups. I hope. Listen, if they bring it over to if they bring it over to America, we will be watching. We will be watching. They have already started like putting the movie out in like other countries in the East. So you know, who's to say they come over across the pond and start putting the movie out in theaters here? I would watch it, dude. I totally would watch it. I shit you not. I would go to the theaters, and I'm not a movie boy, but I will go. I will go. 100%. Mama! Iconic. Um, what else? What else? I'm terrible at movies. Yeah, but yeah, I'm the same way. I'm the same way. Um, then there's this whole GTA 6 leaking situation, which admittedly I don't really know a whole lot about. I've been pretty vocal about how I feel like um this whole my thing with GTA 6, right? I said before I don't think it's coming out. It was in November. Um I'm starting to think that it will, just because like they have they've been, doing a lot behind the scenes. But the last thing that we talked about was actually in a few days, I believe they're dropping a Netflix exclusive trailer, which I think is, I said this at the time. I think it's complete bullshit. Um, I think there, if you're locking your first official gameplay trailer behind like another subscription, I think that's shitty, bro. Like you're trying to sell your product. I know this is gonna sell. Like they don't have to do any marketing whatsoever at this point, and it's probably gonna sell. It's gonna be one of the highest grossing video games of all time. But I just think it's so gross. I think it's so gross that like they they're doing this, and they're gonna get away with it. They're probably gonna Netflix is probably gonna make a whole bunch of money for having this trailer. Um, just really pathetic, really scummy, really greedy. I think as a company, if you're locking like a trailer for your upcoming game that everybody's looking forward to behind a subscription paywall, I think that's gross. Um, and shame on you. You're already gonna make a boatload of money anyway. You're probably gonna be one of the highest grossing video games of all time. So just so stupid. But apparently there's this guy that like has been uh I could watch it, but I'm not gonna because I mean, I'm not gonna judge anybody who does watch it because listen, we're all just cattle at the end of the day. Um, you know, like even if I say like, oh, I don't have a Netflix subscription currently because I don't really watch Netflix like that, but um like, I'm not gonna like judge anybody who does. Um, but the onus is on Netflix and Take Two and Rockstar, you know. those are those are the companies that are doing this shit. Um, but I'm judging. Um, but I just feel like it's crazy, right? There's this leaker that apparently has like a build of the game that they've been leaking like footage of. Um, and bro, I think he's gonna die. I think they might kill him because of just how like secret that that this whole game is. And I think it's weird, frankly. I think it's weird. Like we should not I do not want to go into the I don't want the video game industry to go into this like weird like era of like keeping everything a complete secret. I think that you should, obviously like don't show the whole game, but like we're almost 2 months away from the game releasing and there hasn't been a single gameplay trailer. Are you kidding me? That's insane. That's insane. You've been working on this game for what, like a decade now, and there's not a single trailer for the game. What are you? Or the gameplay trailer? There is like there. I think there's two trailers at this point, but there's no gameplay. So, I don't know. It's just ridiculous. If this is like the future of AAA, or some people are saying quadruple A gaming, I don't want it. Um, fucking triple A gaming has become such a cesspool of just like corporate greed, you know. Um video games video games that used to cost $40 are now costing $80. And yes, like inflation is definitely a big part of that. Um I think tariffs are a big part of that, but to double the price over like 15 years, I think it's ridiculous. That's not even consistent with inflation. Um, and we still buy them. We still buy them. Um, including me, right? Including me. I'm, you know, when Tears of the Kingdom came out, I spent $70 on it. So I'm no better, but I think that this is just a very gross practice of, making every AAA title out to be uh like this. Hollow Knight Silksong was one of my favorite games of the decade so far, and that game was $20. $20. One of the best games that you will ever play, in my opinion. And it was $20. Okay? Like I need y'all to understand that shit. Like this shit is upscaled like crazy. And it's not to say that the people that are like making these games don't deserve to make a profit. That's not what I'm saying. But like all these weird practices of locking the game behind like a subscription paywall, being really hush hush about gameplay footage. It's like I would like to know what the game looks like before I make a purchase. Um I'm not at a point right now where I'm getting a PS5, but like if I were to get a PS5 and I were like actively wanting to get this game, I probably wouldn't get it until I saw actual gameplay footage. I don't think that that's too much to ask for. I think it's crazy. Call me old fashioned. Because it did not used to be like this. It did not used to be like this. Y'all gonna call me Onk for reminiscing about the old days, but it did not used to be like this. I think more than ever, this is why it's so important to support indie projects, because they're doing this out of love of the game. Knowing what a game is probably one of the most important things I look for before purchasing, and that's why I've literally one paid for game, The Forest. I haven't heard of that one. I don't know, man. It's just crazy. Mm, or you hate cannibalism? Oh, yeah, probably not. Probs not. Um, what else? Y'all remember Jules LeBron, the demure lady on TikTok from like a year or two ago? That was like, you see how I do my makeup? Very demure, very mindful. Um, apparently, I stay off TikTok, bro. I stay off TikTok because I feel like anytime I go on TikTok, my my brain, my like my self-worth meter goes down. That's a callback uh to to the collab stream of theory, which by the way, if you haven't watched that, you should definitely watch it. It's very fun. Um had a ton of fun. But uh just like I guess she the other day was posting about how she needs money uh for her teeth because her teeth are rotting. Um and TikTok was so like gross about it. Oh my god, there were so many people that were so nasty about it, dude. So nasty, so gross. Just so like harsh. People saying like, "Oh, you're the demure lady. You should have a bunch of money. How can you not afford to get your teeth fixed or whatever?" And like, um, just very like very gross framing of the situation. Um, you know, anytime that we see like these case studies of people who have like 15 minutes of fame, right? The Hawk Tuas of the world. Um, a lot of these individuals are put in like a situation where everybody is talking about their viral moment, right? And maybe they get a little bit of money. There was a whole interview. I was watching Matt Bernstein's podcast, so I'm kind of referencing this as well. Like how she was saying how she would get a little bit of money for like brand deals before the demure um video, and then all of a sudden like every brand was like giving her way more money than she knew what to do with. And I think what people don't understand about that is like, for a brief moment you get like a ton of money and you don't know what to do with it. People talk about new money, right? And how like you go into a situation where, and she admits like she was growing up very poor. Um and then all of a sudden she gets so much money she doesn't know what to do with it. Um she was partying, she was, you know, picking up very unhealthy habits, and a lot of this is, she didn't have anybody to help her manage the money. And there were all these brands also that were profiting off of like her without even giving her money, right? Um And so for a very brief moment, she was making a lot of money, and then all of a sudden, it was like it was just all gone, right? Um, because none of these brands wanted to work with her after the demure memes started dying down. And I think people don't talk about that a lot. Something that is very, very concerning about like the ecosystem of social media is like, you can make something out of it, but you can really only throw a ball as far as it'll be thrown, right? And once it lands, that's kind of it, right? You can, there are very rare opportunities where lightning strikes twice, and eventually people will stop talking about that meme. And if you don't have professional people that know how to like continue to you know make you like keep people engaged with your content, which a lot of normal people, everyday people who find themselves in these situations don't have, you're going to fade into obscurity, right? And that's what happened, right? After she admittedly, got hooked on crack, her teeth started rotting, and then she didn't have the money to fix them. So people were just very gross. And in the middle of people being gross, who else was there but a certain Jeffree Star, who I have spoken about at length on this show. I hate Jeffree Star. If there is one person in this world, or at least on the internet, that like I despise with my whole fiber, every being, it is Jeffree Star. I think that man is pure evil. I think he is a horrible human being, um, who deserves nothing. Um, just a vile person. And on top of it all, this man, who, may I remind you, spends most of his days these days begging for TikTok, galaxies on TikTok Live, was making fun of this woman by going into the dentist and saying, "Look how I don't have to beg people for money." Just a horrible human being. Hate Jeffree Star. Um, I will sing it from the rooftops. I think that he's the worst person ever. At least like in modern era. Um, he sucks. He's just a terrible guy. He has essay allegations. He has, you know, called black women the N word. Um, just a whole slew of like problematic like behavior that is just so nasty. Um, so fuck Jeffree Star. Um, but it sounds like at least a positive to this story is that there were some dentists who reached out to Jules LeBron and were going to I guess maybe help her with her teeth. So that's good at least. I don't know. Just really piss me off, dude. I hate Jeffree Star. One of these days, I've been thinking about doing just a whole deep dive on Jeffree Star, because it is there is a laundry list, dude. There's a laundry list of Jeffree Star moments that have just made him to be just one of the worst figures on the internet ever. Genuinely, my blood boils when I see that man. Um, but yeah, Fuck Jeffree Star. I hate him. There it is. Um, Wattpad is in hot fire. They are the newest company. Are they a company? I don't know. Um, to have acquiesced to the demands of credit card companies to ban NSFW content just completely. Um, a fanfic website, you know, second to AO3. They knew, but bullshit they doing is yes, the newest in terms of what's happening currently. Um, this trend of all these companies that are like giving in. Why I like reading my NSFW fanfic about our leaders. Well, I guess move to AO3. It's just this whole trend needs to stop, dude. I need credit card businesses as long as shit is not fucking illegal. I don't know why credit card companies even should have a say in what I do with my money. You know, it's just it's crazy to me. It's crazy to me that they even have this leverage. Um, and if a company wants to make the decision for themselves that like they don't want to have that kind of content on their website, that's fine. But it almost never is the case that it's the company that does it. And I'm not necessarily fully blaming Wattpad for this decision. I know that they were pressured into doing it, most likely, but I won't know what happens to Trump x Biden, yeah, um, but like, at least put up a fight, man. It's like we saw what happened to Tumblr. The same fucking shit. And it's like I know Tumblr isn't like fully dead, but it can't be doing as well as it used to be. Um, these companies want to just like completely ban, anything pornographic whatsoever from the internet. And it's just so vile to me. It's so vile. Um, I feel very strongly about this that like, you know, if you don't want to interact with that kind of stuff, don't interact with it. Don't like, don't read, as the fanfic proprietors have always said. But it seems like, the companies that are hosting these fanfics can't even understand that logic. So I don't know. Shame on fanfic. Shame on Wattpad. Shame on these credit card companies. Stop fucking telling me what to do with my money. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. Stop it. You're not my fucking mommy, okay? Why do you care so much? Why are you like grandstanding this like whole like weird like anti-porn initiative? It's just very gross. And you see this across everything now. You see this across video games, you see this across books. Now they're hitting fanfics. Like they just it's ridiculous, you know? And obviously this isn't to say that there shouldn't be some regulation, right? I totally am in agreement with the fact that like we shouldn't be showing this stuff to like kids, right? We shouldn't be, we shouldn't be doing like illegal dealings over, with credit cards. But this isn't illegal. This is above the board. It's two men having sex, or two women having sex, or a man and a woman having sex, or whatever, right? And they don't want to see, they don't want it because they want to be holier than thou. They want to pretend that it doesn't exist. They don't want to see it. It makes them uncomfortable. That's what it comes down to. It's uncomfortable, you know? Because the reality is that these old ass men who own these credit card companies probably haven't gotten it in 30 years, if that. And so they want to make everybody else's life more difficult. They don't want you to jerk it. That's what it comes down to. And I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. What's next? You're gonna get in my brain. You're gonna get in my brain and not let me think about kissing men. That's what's gonna happen. Once they've taken everything away, they're gonna thought police us. they're gonna show up at your doorstep and say, "Stop it. Stop thinking about kissing." Minato from Zenless Zone Zero. You know, I joke, but like, you know, if they could have it that way, they probably would. You know? And a lot of this is homophobia too, by the way. By the way. A lot of this is misogyny because who is the majority audience for fanfics? The ladies, the girls, and the gays. Let's not forget. Let's not forget. I'm just saying. And this is like arguably, if you want to be like a fucking like, you know, a puritanical about this shit. This, I feel like this is the least offensive type of pornography, right? Like written, you know? It's just so gross. It's so gross to me. I am sick of it. I've had enough. So there it is. I've covered a lot of topics today. I've had a lot to say on various issues. I don't know. Fuck these credit card companies. Fuck them. Fuck credit card companies. Fuck Jeffree Star. Fuck Rockstar. Lots of stars today. And W New Lie. That's the gist. Period. Period. Let's dong and Ramba, dude. I'm gonna need to set this shit up real quick, so give me a sec. Hang tight. My poor computer is so busted, dude. My poor laptop. My PC is fine. But my My laptop, the whole bottom plate is like all the screws have like died. I need to get some replacements. Maybe they sell those. Okay. We're jumping into murder. I shouldn't say it like that. We're jumping into murder. Did I save before? I feel like I did, right? Guess we'll find out. I don't know how I feel about this game yet. I mean, I know we're still early in, so. Also, as far as I know, AO3 has not been impacted by the drama. Hello, Dimitri. Okay. Danganronpa Labs. How am I doing? I'm doing alright. I'm doing okay. Whoa. That's a bit loud. Alright, is that good? How are you, Mr. Mitri? We're investigating murder. Murder time. We just discovered the body. That's exciting. Our first death. The Baker girl, which honestly, I'm not super surprised. I'm gonna say right off the bat. Well, maybe let's hold off on that. Let's look at the menu. So we got our roster. Just got home from work. Hell yeah. There's a lot of cute boys in this one, I will say. Okay, so Pandora's fucking dead, dude. This bitch dead. The Baker. Which low-key, I kind of expected from the get-go when she started getting like chummy with that one girl, which leads me to think that maybe it's Seikono, because there was that whole thing we saw like earlier where they were talking in the kitchen or the dining room. I don't remember. So I don't know. I'm curious about what happened with that. Anyway, she's fucking dead. Not her. Her. She's dead. So let's fucking go. Let's investigate murder. We literally just discovered the body, so if you have no idea what's going on, it's okay. You don't really need to at this point. If you've never played a Danganronpa game, this is a fan-made game. Oh, I'm a little to the side. Hold up. There we go. It's basically like a killing. Well, it is a killing game. Every chapter, one person does a murder. Somebody murders someone else, and we gotta find out who did it. So right now we're doing some investigation. Let's go. Let's look at Pandora's. But wait, we should look at the Monokuma file first. The Monokuma file sheds some light on Pandora's death. It looks like a considerable amount has been conveniently omitted. Or rather, the entire file has been paraphrased for the purpose of vagueness. May I take a look? Oh, is there only one file? You see, he handed me a black postcard-sized sheet. Monokuma file 01. Oh, okay. Let me read it. Ultimate student victim report. Victim Pandora Espier. Cause of death, victim suffered from strangulation. No further injuries detected. So it was strangulation. The victim's body was discovered in the second floor spa lounge. Victim suffered strangulation. The estimated time of death is 16:05. No further injuries detected. Now, obviously, I'm making some inferences here because this is a fan game. So I don't know if they're going to play exactly the same way that like Danganronpa does. But these Monokuma files are like usually they do say things in a way that makes you that makes you need to read between the lines, right? So you kind of need to like you kind of need to learn to take the writing with a grain of salt, right? For example, the victim's body was discovered in the second floor spa lounge, which could mean that she wasn't killed in the spa lounge. Her body was just placed there. I'm not saying that's what happened, but that's, everything, everything that is written in here is true, right? You can take what is in these for verbatim, but also you have to read between the lines. Victim suffered strangulation. The estimated time of death is 16:05. No further injuries detected. Okay, so that's also that could also be another red herring. They suffered strangulation, but no further injuries detected. So there could be something else that just wasn't, that isn't readily understandable, right? They could have been poisoned. Because it doesn't say that the death was by strangulation. They just suffered strangulation. This might sound crazy, but this is how these games work. But is that all the information we have? Unfortunately. However, we have yet to inspect the scene itself. I trust none of the first witnesses shifted anything around upon arrival. No, I didn't touch anything. I saw her body, ran out, and yelled for help, which called Cyrus and Kanan. Neither of them approached her. Well, there's not much else we can do. I swallowed hard. I still wasn't ready to confront the body, but I steeled myself regardless. Something deep in my heart told me I needed to do this. Echo, I know what you're thinking. Oh, this is our best friend. I think she did it, dude. It would be such an easy, like, like, resolve building trauma for Echo to see that like their best friend committed murder and then has to be executed, right? So I don't know. I'm halfway hoping that isn't the case, just because like I feel like that's so predictable. But I wouldn't be surprised if it were the case. But who knows? Maybe it won't be. Usually these games like to like make you get close to somebody in the first chapter and then they die to give you a sense of despair. It's hard, but we need to face her. Okay, well, let's fucking look at her body. It's Pandora's body. Pandora's bracelet, formerly a rose gold color like my own, was now a vibrant neon pink. Oh, does it change color? I guess it meant she's gone. As difficult as it is, we have to search the body and scene for clues. Nevertheless, Missy was having a hard time looking directly at Pandora's body. Do you notice anything odd? I briefly looked at Pandora's neck. Her neck seems to be in pretty bad shape. It looks red from some kind of stress. But other than that, I can't really figure anything else out. The victim report. According to the Monokuma file, the cause of death states she suffered strangulation. Let's think about it. If she was strangled, with what did the culprit strangle her with? I'm guessing like some sort of rope, maybe? Did she, or did they use the? I don't know why I said she. I don't know who it is. I think I said she because the victim. I'm going into this blind, so I don't know. I just want to clarify. There was like a thing around her arm, right? Her like a little bracelet. Good question. Do you think the culprit went to the climbing center and used a rope? Perhaps they cruelly used their own bare hands. Shuddered at the thought. The fact that we had to think of how the culprit committed such a thing was unnerving. We got a scrap of paper in the pool. A small scrap of paper in the pool. Okay. Maybe I just shouldn't make comments. What voice act? It was like a... What's that? Not sure. Carefully fished out the scrap of paper, taking care not to tear it. Oh, right. That's right. She came to us like yesterday and was like, "Do you know anything about this?" And it was like some card with like some language on it. It was soaked, causing the words to be completely illegible. Oh, it's impossible to read. Yeah, it's ruined. Almost fell apart in my hands. A note, perhaps? However, the writing is impossible to decipher at this moment. But how could this refuse be remotely related to this refuse? What is that? What does that mean? A refuse? Be remotely related to the case at hand. Well, it wasn't there before. Seems pretty, like, pretty intentionally placed there. Dunno. Seems kind of out of place. Okay. You know what? Remember, the announcement from this morning said there was a special gift for whoever went to the atrium. This is correct. It is possible that this note was the... Is it possible that this note was the supposed special gift? I can't say. However, I noticed the larger ink blots were vaguely in the shape of something I had seen before. I left the shreds of paper on the side of the pool. Just imagine that. Is there anything else? Just those? Let's discuss. Oh, this is interesting. I think I'm gonna be sick. I rubbed his back as he took deep breaths. Oh, okay. Hey, it'll be okay. Art could barely eke out a word in his state. You know, I am curious because I wonder if in this chapter they're gonna like... There's gotta be like a neutral antagonist. Is that what the word is? Because obviously, like, the main antagonist of this game is whoever is running it, but they usually like to have somebody that's like who's like also causing trouble among the cast. The mastermind is usually what they call the person on the strings, right? Art could barely eke out a word in his state. Alright. Echo. It's selfish, but after I heard the announcement, I was relieved to see you standing in the room. That said, Pandora didn't deserve this. No one deserves this. Well, some might. I just hope she didn't suffer. Ashley fell silent and stared at our lost friend. Never seen Ashley so distraught. This is distressing to say the least. Echo, were you the first one here? Yeah. I didn't catch anyone on my way here though, so I can't say I saw anyone suspicious who could have done this. You came pretty quickly after I shouted. Did you happen to see anyone? I can't say that I did. I was in the climbing center right next door, too. It's kind of on with you? It came at about the same time as you, if I recall correct. No, I was by myself. While I was in the climbing center, I left the door open if anyone wanted to join in recreation. No one came by the center, and I didn't leave until I heard your voice. I ran into Kanan shortly thereafter in the hallway just in front of the spa lounge. Weird. I didn't run into anyone on the first floor either, so whoever did it must have vanished? One sec. That's unlikely. Regardless, how did the culprit give us the slip? Cyrus was grumbling to himself as he tried to organize the events past. Is it really possible that the music provoked murder? Oh, that's right. There was like, they basically were like, okay, someone has to die today, or else you all will suffer. And then they started playing annoying ass music. Can't wrap my head around music being used to motivate something so extreme. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't even that long. I agree. I cannot condone the vilifying of music. It's proven that music has therapeutic qualities, but conversely, select sounds have the ability to cause anxiety and other negative effects. Like listening to Tate McRae. Sorry. In that case, maybe the motivating music was meant to make us stop thinking clearly. I definitely felt startled when it began. Perhaps. The rhythm of music can affect your body, given our experience with the motivating music. It was high-paced and likely used to cause, as the announcer said, blood-pumping excitement. Echo, have you ever heard of the brown note? I suppose those qualities could have been abused to activate a fight or flight response that would inevitably end up like this. Is that so? That wretched music was certainly irritating, but for someone to succumb and produce such an intense reaction, to what end? The music really that motivating? Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it was something was intentionally causing it? Like the murderer, maybe? I don't know. Don't talk to me, Khan spoke through tightly gritted teeth. She looked disturbed. Can you blame her? This is the one that I think is gonna be a thorn in our side, because he's so obsessed with puzzles. He's probably gonna be like Byakuya and be like, I love this. I'm living for this. I'm gonna make it more difficult for everybody. Lyle, what are you thinking? If I'm being honest, I don't know. There's not a lot on the scene to dissect. The only thing that caught my eye was that shred of paper in the spa pool, but it's completely ruined. Expected a bit more keen observations from him, but even Lyle was either stumped or too shocked to speak on the matter. I admit, this is nothing if not shocking to see. The words were unwavering, but Missy's voice was cracked and disjointed. Yeah, I can't believe it actually happened. It's inconceivable, and to Pandora nonetheless. Overwatch is pissing me off? Fuck Overwatch. How dare they? She held together quite strongly. I'm certain her spirit would not have been crushed by a game constructed of fear. Alas, there's no use thinking in hopeful hypotheticals now that this has occurred. Yeah, I was shaken at how articulate, even on the subject of death, Missy remained. Isn't she like the ultimate tactician? Say fainted as soon as she entered the spa lounge. Forte was kind enough to situate her in a spare chair, off to the side to regain her strength. Hopefully not in the chair directly adjacent to the victim. I think that's it. I don't think there's anything else. It says continue, but alright. Not a lot to go off of. After investigating Pandora's body, I felt an exhaustion like none other. Never in my life did I think I would be experiencing something like this. Weight of the shock and melancholy of it all bore heavy on my shoulders. Is there nothing else we can do? I wonder, did anyone see anything else suspicious on their way over here? We all looked at one another, but no one replied. Everyone was understandably on edge. Of course no one wanted to talk. It appears we've exhausted all avenues. Excuse me. Of investigation here. Such a lackluster amount of clues doesn't bode well for us. Bell-wode. Wode Bell. Yes, but if we've done all we can looking into the scene, there's nothing left but to discover Pandora's killer. Of course, that's easier said than done. Sure. Heard Kanan grumbling in the corner. She seemed distressed. Yeah, well... Alright, I think I've given you all enough leeway to get yourselves together. So it's time for the class trial. I hope you have had enough ammunition to shoot down... You have enough ammunition to shoot down the culprit. That was a short-ass investigation. If not, then I guess you're all out of luck. There's an elevator in the main foyer that will cruise you all down to the special class trial courtroom. If you do not assemble in the elevator quickly, I'll send out a radio transmission that will release the toxic gas in your bracelets. You want to find out who did it, right? You don't want your lives to end before you've even had a chance to defend yourselves, right? All that and more will be available for your group in the courtroom. Let's get a move on. I'll be seeing you shortly. The announcement went out as quickly as it came. So, this is really happening. The group shifted around anxiously. Well, what are we waiting for? Ashley took the first strides out of the room, but not without giving Pandora one last somber look from the doorway. Forte gently eased Say awake, turning her gaze from the unsightly? I think they meant unsightly. Unsightly scene and helping her as she hobbled out. One by one, the others filtered out of the spa lounge, stood back for a moment to take one last look at Pandora. So you really don't know a lot. We all stepped into the large elevator and began the dark descent into the supposed courtroom. The elevator sailed noiselessly toward our unknown destination for what felt like an eternity. Silently we stood. No one dared speak. I had a lump in my throat from anxiety, the fear, the sadness. My stomach was knotted, my head dizzy, my heart aching, my dick hard. The spa lounge we were meant to investigate came short of any useful clues. We were only able to procure 2 traces of evidence, one fact of which was already stated simply in the victim report, and the other was a secret note that only few were aware of. Nervous was an understatement. I was at a complete loss. I heard something. The elevator eventually slid to a standstill, shaking me from my thoughts. The doors opened to reveal our rendezvous point. A spacious dome-shaped room was topped with a glass ceiling, a third of the foundation revealing the sunset sky out of our confines. They really do like to describe what we're looking at. Like, I can see that. No, don't tell. The walls themselves were bared and simple, a matte navy blue with a rim light illuminating the room. Hanging on the wall across the way was a grim picture frame representing Pandora. Her profile had been crudely stricken with a violent pink X. The picture frame was positioned so that it was looking almost hauntingly over a circular group of podiums. It was a bleak place. I think there was a dedicated location for whatever was about to occur. Just where were we? Welcome one and all to the trial grounds. The stands before you will be the key locale for today's trial, so let's see some hustle, people. The announcement was much more imposing in the courtroom, echoing through the domed chamber, each reverberation almost pushing us into place. We steadily settled in and stood in silence. At the stands we were placed in a circular fashion. Our faces, our fears, and our emotions were exposed to one another. The atmosphere, thick with anxiety, was palpable and crushing. I could feel my heavy heart pounding in my head. Now that's your brain. My palms were sweaty. Mom spaghetti. Yet I could feel a dreadful, eerie chill go up my spine. I tried to be strong, but my knees were weak, my breath short. We were here because of one unmistakable fact. Someone killed her. We're showing this picture again. Pandora Esper, the ultimate baker, a gentle and caring person who wanted nothing more than to share her good spirit and delectable treats with the world. Well, I don't know. There could be more to that. She could suck. Someone here was responsible for her death. And the only thing that kept me standing firm was the drive to figure out who heartlessly ended her life. It was me! A light began to flicker weakly from the center of the circle of stands. The flickering gained strength as a shape began to take form within the light. Something like the shape of a person began to appear. Whoa! Hottie. Welcome, one and all. Welcome to the courtroom. Oh, he got a tongue piercing too? Who are you? What is that? Who am I? What is that? Answers to those questions don't matter too much. Besides, I think you ought to have more pressing questions since something super bad has transpired. All you really need to know is that I'm your lovely judge for today's trial. Okay, maybe I'm not a real certified judge or whatever, but I will be the one passing judgment on what happens today and after each subsequent murder to come. Judge, but not really a judge, is too long and confusing to address me, so you may call me Zero. So that's the zero that was in the intro, I guess. The hologram of a person named Zero presented himself, giving a face to the voice of our killing game announcer. Class trial, all rise. Alright. Without further ado, I take it you all know why you're here? Geez, you're all a quiet bunch, aren't you? You're all here to suss out who done it. In other words, you're all on trial to figure out who the culprit of today's heinous crime is. Do you think you could just get away with murder and win the prize? Nah, it's not that simple. The rules are as follows. Discuss, discover, and determine who the culprit is among your group. Majority vote will seal the individual's fate, and we'll just see what happens from there, yeah? One of few outcomes will occur. Determine and vote incorrectly, and the entire class is executed, with the culprit alone able to walk free and win the ultimate prize. That's the ideal endgame for the culprit. Determine and vote correctly, and the culprit alone will receive proper retribution and perish at the hands of your group decision. Whew. You just might live to see another day. Our victim today is Pandora Esper, the ultimate baker. Sweet young lady who would do nothing wrong, or could she? Well, people can surprise you. So with that out of the way, get to talking. Who exactly are you? What? You're still asking that even though I introduced myself all nice? You should have bigger concerns than that. Talk about the murder. I can't believe who did it isn't your top priority right now. Huh? No one wants to talk? Need I remind you your lives are kind of on the line? None of you start talking. You all default to having lost a trial and you'll all be executed. You don't want that, do you? Executed? What does that mean? You are killed. The dictionary definition of execute, to carry out a sentence of death. It's really quite simple. On the one hand, it makes my job easier. I don't have to listen to bad deductions. On the other hand, I'd be terribly bored if this game didn't go past the first chapter. Much like many Fanganrampas. Everyone, please, we need to discuss who could have possibly done the unthinkable. As trifling or even irrelevant as something may be, if you have any concerns about the case, speak now. It's scary. Say, are you okay? Say, please don't push yourself. Yes, thank you. He wants us to talk, I'll talk. Talk about how scared I am. I just want to go home. And get used to anything around here. I don't know any of you people. Then someone gets killed? Say, understand it's difficult, but discussing our friend's death is necessary to ensure we don't find a similar fate ourselves. At the very least, we can try to remember our last moments with her. That Zero is right. We don't want to go down without a fight, right? Why don't we begin with Pandora's last known whereabouts? Silence in the room was oppressive. Trial to defend ourselves? Why did I need to defend myself if I know for a fact that I would never kill her? Because nobody else knows that. Regardless, no one knew where to start. Well then, I shall begin. Last I saw her, we were sharing a quiet breakfast. I can back that. The group was composed of Art, Echo, Missy, Pandora, and myself in the dining hall from about 7:40 a.m. to 10 a.m. After that, we all kind of went our own way. I went around the mansion with Echo to talk to the others who weren't at breakfast. Who did we see again, Echo? Doesn't recall the people we visited after breakfast. Let's see, we met with... I don't remember. I'm gonna say Kanan, Lyle, and Ashley? No, I didn't see Ashley until after we discovered the body. Okay. Oh yeah, those people were Say, Kanan, Forte, and Lyle, and we asked them about their talents. That's right, but when we were touring the mansion, we met with those four and no one else. The only ones we didn't see after breakfast were Pandora and Ashley. I mean, we met with Pandora when we were talking to Kanan, but she didn't stick around long. Said she had somewhere to be and left to go who knows where. There's a period of time in which no one saw Pandora last, is that correct? That window apparently being somewhere between 10 a.m. to approximately 4 p.m. Can anyone else provide their whereabouts in that approximate time frame? I was alone in the study for a good portion of the afternoon. I went to the theater at about 2:30. Oh, you must have left just before I went in. I went to the study at 3 p.m. I spent my time in my personal room. I wasn't in one place. I was investigating the mansion, until 3, that is. I met up with Art for a little bit and eventually landed in the jazz club right before 4. I was regaling myself with the amenities in the theater for much of the afternoon. I was in my room too. After I had a meal with Art and Echo, I went back and didn't leave at all. I was in the atrium for a while. Whoa. Oh. Looks like no one has a particularly strong alibi except for Art and Echo who can vouch for each other until 3 p.m. What does that mean? It means that since many of us were acting on our own for an extended period of time, our whereabouts can be heavily doubted. Anyone could have lied about their activity and instead set up some sort of trap to get rid of Pandora, since no one saw each other. So we're all suspicious? It's difficult to narrow down who is potentially suspicious on these claims alone. Let's calm down and think thoroughly. Why don't we move the topic to the forced motive question? The question is, along with the motivation music, was provided to push someone to commit crime. We ought to figure out what about the question would have caused such distress. Right, it was like, what does your talent mean to you or something? Something like that? I don't remember. The forced motive question. A small group of us talked about it briefly this morning over breakfast, but ultimately we couldn't figure out the purpose of the question. Why don't we discuss the purpose now that everyone is present? The purpose of the forced motive question. The question was, are your talents a true representation of who you are? Who are you beyond your talent? What could it mean? Should pay attention to statements that might sound interesting. A question to provoke killing? It makes no sense. How could a simple question make us do something as extreme as end someone's life? This morning we speculated that sharing the history behind our talents would only create a greater bond between us. Greater bond? Echo, I believe you led our discussion this morning. You should be well versed in what everyone had to say and the consensus we came to. That's right. We all shared our thoughts and agreed nothing we said struck anyone as strange. Purpose of the force moto question. I am inclined to agree with that conclusion. It only makes sense after all. But it's also possible that it's a tactic used to instill distrust and cause discord. I guess it's hello? What do you mean by distrust, Ash? Let's say someone didn't want to talk about their talent, despite the talent being something that's highly lauded. If someone wouldn't want to talk about such an unassuming topic, their resistance should be suspicious, right? Just because someone's talent is public knowledge, it doesn't necessarily mean the individual's life and practice behind it should be public as well. Ash, you kept your talent unknown to me for whatever reason. You saying you want me to believe you're suspicious? Of course not. Did you even say that? Did you ask someone about the force moto question and not get an answer? No. I just didn't want to bother anyone with such a potentially loaded question. Is my talent a true representation of who I am? I never thought about my talent as a representation of me. It was simply a hobby that spiraled into something incredulous. I never would have thought racing would lead me to end up in such a strange mess. Sorry to press you so hard, Ash. Art asked me if I knew anything about your talent, and I couldn't properly answer him. That said, I think this conversation eventually proved your point, that it could cause discord. There's contention even between us. That's alright. I'm sorry if keeping it a secret hurt you, Echo. I didn't mean to tie you up in such complications. It's not so complicated. You're my friend. If anything hurts, it's the fact that I burdened you with this topic. Well, that's the purpose of discussion, isn't it? To bring ideas and theories to light. And I don't suppose I just performed an example of the question causing such an altercation. Alright. Interesting. So I guess this is it's kind of similar to Your Turn to Die. I guess there's some limitations. Because I feel like the Danganronpa class trials are usually pretty flashy. Not that I was expecting that from this one. Oh, well, wasn't that something? Best friends reconciling their differences for the sake of proving a point. I suppose every discussion has to start somewhere. Okay, as you were. Right. Thank you for that bookend, Zero. In that case, what if the question posed was meant to make us look at Ultimate Student's talents as an ends justifies the means product? A mean justice fries served with what? The end justifies the means, a saying in which a result is deemed so important that any method, morally good or bad, may be used to achieve it. In this case, I believe Echo is saying regardless how someone achieved such advanced talent or what the person is like behind it is meaningless in the grand scheme of having an ultimate title. After all, didn't we all sign up for the preservation project knowing full well what we needed to bear an ultimate title? I also, this motive question that they're talking about is like, in what example would that cause someone to murder someone, you know? Like, maybe we'll find, I mean, maybe it'll come together, but that's something that I'm curious about, because usually these motives are like, a little bit more moving, right? Like, it's like they present like a game of someone dying, and then, a perpetrator is like, that was someone I knew. I need to get my revenge, that kind of thing. So, like, I don't know, maybe there's more to it, but it's very weird that this is like the motive that they're going with. Almost fell off my chair. An ultimate title. A precariously valuable title someone receives for super excelling in their field of expertise. But what does this possibly have to do? What does this possibly have to do with Pandora getting killed? No, anyone was like jealous of her talent or something, was there? We were all strangers before meeting in this scary place anyway. Well, not all of us. I fully want to believe. I want to believe we all got along well with her. We all got along with each other. In fact, I mean, I'm suspicious of Say. I mean, she's definitely acting a little sus, but I mean, not any differently than how she's been acting. But she also was like talking to her, so I do want to know what was going on there. Without the killing game pressure, I don't see how anyone could possibly harbor any ill will. Nah, someone has gotta hate her. The Monokuma theme. Bo. There it is. Bo. What? What? I'm bored. What? I'm bored. You weren't talking about anything interesting, so I thought I'd throw you all a bone and get the ball rolling a little faster. Not one single person is going to be loved by everyone. It's just not possible. Except for Dolly Parton. How could you say that? She did nothing but show kindness and warmth towards everyone. I guess Jolene. I don't think Jolene liked Dolly Parton, now that I think about it. And, well, did we ever get Jolene's side? I don't know. Hi, Yuri. Dora only ever wanted to share good food with friends. With good friends. Yes, she always worked tirelessly to bring us together with her delicacies. I mean, it's been 2 days. That's what always gets me about these games. Is like they don't really spend enough time with each other to actually know anything about each other. It's like fucking it's like dating shows. It's like whenever they get like super emotional about getting like voted off or whatever, like The Bachelor, and like the contestant is like in the car crying as they're being driven off. It's like, girl, you were there for like a week. I just don't know if I'll ever love again. It's like, girl, it's been 4 days. It's been 4 days and we spent a grand total of like 15 minutes with this guy. Like, you know, they always make it seem like it's been like a super long time, but it really isn't. Cause like you know, like those shows go over the course of like 12 weeks just in terms of like syndication. But if I'm not mistaken, most of those shows really only are filmed over the course of 3 weeks. So it's like, it always kills me whenever they're like super emotional. Not to make it like, not to be like, you know, what an idiot, but like, come on. Blah. Oh, good show, everyone. Huh? You're all such great actors. I guess it's been fun watching, but the discussion isn't really going anywhere. Oh. I'll just put an end to this now. This case, this trial, it's all an elaborate ARG scheme. Trial? It's all an act. The reason why there's so few clues is just a way to save resources. Imagine if the folks setting up the game had to use a bunch of fake blood to create the scene. I suppose for the sake of entertainment, such systems exist to waste resources. Lau, what are you talking about? Pandora isn't dead, she can't be. Nothing adds up. But I suppose if you want me to keep playing, I'll say this. Let's think about who was on the scene first. If I recall correctly, it was Echo, wasn't it? Yeah, I saw Pandora's body first, and I called for help, which made Cyrus and Kanan arrive shortly after. Okay, easy. The culprit is one of you three. Huh? What? On what grounds do you think you can speculate that? Pandora's supposed time of death was 4:05, right? I'll set the scene. We're just minding our own business in the mansion, not knowing what's to come. Soon, some nasty music starts playing. One of you three starts getting stressed out, so you strangle the first person you see. How else could we narrow down the culprit? Has to be someone who was near the scene after 4 p.m., and that person couldn't have gotten far after escaping the crime scene. Well, who was the last person that was like... I don't know. I still think that the body could have been moved, but also I'm curious who was the last person to be in the spa. Thank you for the hydrate, Kenna. In my opinion, a motivation to kill a la stress for music is kind of shabby writing, but at least there was an attempt. Mao keeps going on about the killing game being an ARG, but her death seems so real. Huh? Hey, doesn't that mean everyone's alibis from earlier don't amount to anything? Bingo. I believe you all discussed your whereabouts up to approximately 3 p.m. latest, but no one said anything from then to 4 p.m. when the music started. The critical moment to consider is the time just before the murder occurred, obviously. If someone offed Pandora via acute strangulation and made their getaway, it's not likely the culprit would have gotten far from then, and when Echo supposedly discovered the body, the sentence seemed weird. So with the window of action narrowed down to between 4 and 4:05, does anyone care to share their newly updated whereabouts? Wait, why does he say it had to happen between 4 and 4:05? Where we all were in the approximate time around 4 p.m. leading up to the motivational music. If we follow through with Lyle's speculation, we might glean some information that will help us. After hanging out with Lyle, I went to the atrium. The music was blasting in there. Missy joined me in the theater after the music started. I thought Forte and I could go backstage and control the sound system, but our attempts were futile. I was in my room still hiding under the covers. I told you, I was in the foyer leading up to the music. It was noisy, sure, but nothing I couldn't deal with. I was in the jazz club. I told Echo earlier as well. I was in the climbing center and saw no one suspicious dart past the open door. I can say I was in my room too. Okay, where was Missy before she went to the theater? Whoops. Fuck. Oh, God damn it. Guys. So you can vouch for each other, right? Yes, because Missy had an idea that required my assistance. I thought Forte and I could go backstage and... Okay. Wait a minute, Lyle. I know for a fact that the jazz club is soundproof. That's right. When I attempted to play the cello yesterday, you and Cyrus were just outside the jazz club in the hallway. Neither of you seemed to have any reaction when we came out shortly after. That means it's possible that Lyle is exempt from hearing the motivational music. Does it? I suppose you're onto something. I admit, I don't even know what the motivational music sounds like, but it sounds like confluence. But nothing. That's an awfully precarious situation you put yourself in, Lyle. Sure, it's odd, but what's stranger still is how did Lyle know about the motivational music if he never shared it? The kiosks. Where'd they translate sound to text? But this time I saw only a message. It said something like preserving the atmosphere of the room. Zero. What's up? You are the judge of this trial, but you are also the announcement operator outside these walls. I assume you can assist us with something clerical like this. Can you tell us what the kiosk message said in specific? Your current room is a special room that blocks all outside sound to preserve the atmosphere of the room. Please enjoy to your heart's content. I didn't write that, by the way. So you're saying we could have avoided the noise entirely? Well, who wrote it? Is that implying that one of us wrote it? So you're saying we could have avoided the noise entirely? Isn't that too convenient? Wait a minute, in that case, what if Lyle is the one who killed Pandora? What? Didn't I just say that it was the music that would have provoked someone to kill her? I was in the jazz club. I didn't even hear the music, therefore I wouldn't have felt the motivational move. No, could have killed her in the jazz club and moved her body to the spa lounge. That would explain the lack of clues in the spa lounge. This is troublesome. Did any of us investigate the jazz club afterwards? No, I was so shocked from seeing the body that I didn't even think about looking somewhere else. I think we were all as astonished as we heard the body discovery chime. So perhaps Lyle counted on that fact and did in fact kill her in the jazz club. He doesn't have an alibi for a large portion of the afternoon anyway. Saying something like scouring the mansion for clues, he could have spent the whole day unsupervised plotting the terrible thing that ended Pandora's life. Hey, haven't you heard the phrase extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence? Well, that's not out of the question. After all, the ultimate puzzle master could have set up something elaborate. So elaborate that the answer to this murder puzzle goes right over our head. That can't be possible. I was in the climbing center, which is between the spa lounge and jazz club. If Lyle committed the crime in the jazz lounge, I would have been plainly witness to the change of scene. You very well could have constructed that alibi to assist Lyle in his dark activity. Now why on earth would I lie about such a thing? Settle down. I did it. Yelling at each other with hypotheticals isn't getting us anywhere. Agreed. If it will quell Sanforte's worries, let's tackle their initial theory and go from there. Sanforte are wrapped up in the possibility of Lyle killing Pandora and the jazz club. Is it worth discussing? Yeah. Just to be safe. We shouldn't leave anything to doubt. Lyle isn't the culprit, and he shouldn't have any problem clearing the air. Are you kidding me? Fine. What would my motive for killing her be? I didn't hear the motivational music, so that's out of the question. I didn't speak to her about the forced motive questions since I haven't seen her all afternoon. So tell me, based on my lack of time around Pandora, do I even have any clear reason to get rid of her? Oh my stars, you are all so bad at this. What? I'll tell you all for certain that nothing happened in the jazz club. Huh? I'm telling you this because you are all just awful at this whole class trial thing. Jeez, guess this is what happens when there's no ultimate detective around, huh? And your ultimate photographer is so quiet, she's all but dropped dead at this point. She did drop dead. You have to go through another trial, and I don't think I have the patience to watch you run in circles at this rate. Alright, since this is clearly going nowhere, allow me to throw you a bone. Something strange about that note in the spa pool, don't you think? Huh? Lyle very conveniently managed to redirect the conversation from the piece of evidence on scene. I'll let you all think for yourselves. The note. No, must have something to do with Pandora's murder, but what? I'm certain Art and Lyle know something about it, since Lyle brought it up with us, but... Hello? What's with all the dead air? Don't want to talk anymore? You don't want everyone to die without giving their trial your best shot, do you? Like, are any of you even trying to save yourselves? Yeah, I should stop giving you these opportunities. The courtroom fell silent. It seemed we all neglected the gravity of the situation, or rather, we were avoiding it. Hold on. I might have to place my charger real quick. Sorry, guys. One second. $15-minute wait time? Oh, that is crazy. They ain't got enough players. All right, let's see. Maybe this one will work. Might be time for some new chargers. Yeah. My chargers are going to shit. Alright. Sorry about that, gamers. I love the like fabricy chargers, but they really don't last very long. It's crazy how I've probably over the course of my life, I've probably gone through like 30 chargers, dude. Cause like, but it's only phone chargers. I don't have this issue with any other chargers. You know, I've had the same Switch charger for the last 10 years. I've had the same computer charger since I got it. It's only, I don't know what it is with these fucking phone chargers, bro. I don't know if it's the technology, whatever. It's just crazy. It's crazy that you can't get this shit right. You know, and then if I don't get the threaded ones, you know, I usually the regular ones will last longer, but they always do that fucking turtleneck shit where like the little shaft of the cord starts getting weird, and then it just like, you know, then I feel like scared to even use it because it's got like cords exposed and shit. And I'm not like rough with these things. I don't think I'm that like aggressive with my chargers, but like it's just always it's always the Apple chargers. Nothing else. Weird how that is. Courtroom fell silent. Seems we all neglected the gravity of the situation, or rather we were avoiding it. It's just nothing felt real. Pandora's death, her body hardly showed any signs of injury. It's like she was asleep. It's as if we all wanted to forget the reality of the topic at hand, which was that someone had killed our friend. We kept dodging and darting around the main issue. Yes, as painful as it is, we must discuss the murder. It may seem hopeless at the moment, since we don't have much information to work with, but clues will reveal themselves as we bring about certain topics to light. I gotta say, so far, I'm not super invested. I don't know. I feel like maybe like if this is true and there will be more evidence presented, I don't know, there's just not a lot that like that I'm curious about, you know? I feel like a lot of Danganronpa cases, there's like so many different components that all end up like being woven together. And I feel like I said in the first stream playing this, like I don't want to be too critical because I know this was probably like a small team of people. And it's like, you know, a free game. So I don't want to be like, I don't want to be too hard on it. But so far, I'm not super enthralled. I'm gonna be totally honest. But you know, I'm gonna give it through the end of the trial and see how I feel. So don't hold your tongue. Must do this to save ourselves. Then I'll start with her cause of death. From there, it'll probably be easier to reason out potential culprits. According to the Monokuma file, it was strangulation. We identify what she was strangled with? We had to touch up upon the possibilities. It may be difficult to think about, but no one said such a fight would be easy. Discussion commence. So what was Pandora strangled with? Is there something we're missing? Yeah, the thing that she was strangled with. I was thinking it might have been a rope from the climbing center. Can I not? I have to select with my mouse? Rope seems like a common enough tool in things like this. Yeah, but Cyrus said he didn't see anyone near the climbing center. And I don't recall seeing any rope left in the spa lounge. Culprit could have retrieved it far in advance and disposed of it after the fact, though. Yes, but why not dispose of the suspicious note as well? It was left in such a conspicuous place, isn't that strange? Oh, Well, as long as we're able to eliminate options, it'll get us closer to the truth, right? It's horrifying to think about, but perhaps the culprit used their own hands. No. It didn't look... There weren't marks that, showed that. I can't bear the thought of someone using their bare hands to do this. It's too cruel. Wait, Missy, if you think about it, though, if someone was grasping so tight, don't you think there would be fingernail marks dug into the skin? Ugh. I yield that you could be right. There weren't any signs of such brutality? Wouldn't easily forget something as violent as nails being dug into the skin. That helps clarify the possibility. Suppose. I'm relieved to hear that. Let us narrow our thoughts and eliminate things that would be unlikely. We also ought to think about what in the spa lounge could be used. Okay. That's it. What in the spa lounge could be used? We consider the following. Climbing center and jazz club were occupied by one person each. Neither of the occupants saw anything else during their stay. And the killing occurred soon after the 4 p.m. music, so it's likely the culprit could have only used whatever was available on location. What, if anything, could be used? Think. What is the murder weapon? Is this the only thing? Okay. Could it be? Echo, are you onto something? I think so. You brought up a good line of thought that made me rethink the scenario. Recall seeing something that might answer our questions. I believe the culprit may have used a towel to strangle her. It's an unassuming object, isn't it? Of course, there are going to be towels in the spa lounge, so the culprit took advantage of the location and utilized the tools available, the tool being the very towel she was resting her head on. They must have strangled her by wrapping the towel around her neck and pulling until she stopped struggling. And breathing altogether. It explained the lack of fingernails dug in, as well as explain why I didn't see anyone near the climbing center in the event rope was used. It might just be conjecture, but it's the best thing we have so far. There's something bothering me, if I may. What I don't get is, why was Pandora seemingly so relaxed in the spa? She was reclined and there weren't any signs of a struggle in the whole room. She's just chilling out. There must have been the obnoxious music playing in the spa too, so I doubt she would have stayed. That's strange, indeed. I certainly couldn't concentrate on the climbing grips once it started. The music was so annoying. I didn't know it was playing until I was outside. I'm still here. More importantly, Echo, did you bonk your head or something? The spa lounge is soundproof. Okay, when was that? How would we have known that? Huh? Well, I guess that makes sense, since I threw the door open upon entering. Hang on, what? The lounge is soundproof? Whoops, was that not common knowledge? Hold it, explain yourself. Does that have relevance to the trial? Yet the spa lounge is soundproof. The motivational music was playing throughout the rest of the mansion. Whoever was in the spa lounge with Pandora must not have been aware of the music. 0. I noticed in your kiosk message you didn't specify which room was soundproof. It simply said your current room is a special room, is that correct? It said I didn't write that. But, yes, I guess it did say that, didn't it? Fine. Yes, all second floor rooms are soundproof. Happy? All second floor rooms? In that case, wouldn't Pandora have been completely relaxed and unaware of the motivational music when it started at 4 p.m.? Wait, that's right. Well, not the atrium, but it's more of a giant hall than a room. No closed doors or anything, you know? I wasn't aware. I left the climbing center's doors open during my stay. So it's not just the jazz club. We probably assumed the jazz club alone was soundproof because people perform in there. Now it has been revealed that Pandora was willingly in the spa lounge, relaxed and completely unaware of the music, presumably far before it started playing in the first place. Even when it did begin, she would have been undisturbed by it, due to the soundproof quality of the spa lounge. Just a minute. That means the motivational music had nothing to do with provoking someone to kill her. What? Echo. You have an idea of what provoked the person, don't you? You've had this look on your face since this afternoon. It's the note, isn't it? You've seen it before. In fact, you saw it before I brought it up with you and Art. Finally talking about the note. Yes, I've seen it before. Huh? Pandora herself showed it to me last night. Pandora? But how did she see it? Lyle said it was the announcement special gift from this morning. I lied about that. There was no special gift. If someone did show up, I was just going to call them a chump personally. Okay, so this guy isn't reliable. Actually, also was perplexed as to where that came from. Although maybe I shouldn't complain. The note has made things very interesting. What is this note you are all talking about? Remember that scrap of paper we saw in the spa pool? Yes, it was soaked beyond legibility. That's the note we're talking about, namely a note to be kept in secrecy. Remember it said if you recognize one of the symbols depicted, then you have finally found me in our safe. Please do not speak of this note's existence. Trust no one but yourself. 2 emblems on it, as the note references, and I saw one of those emblems on that shred of wet paper in the spa pool. Pandora was in possession of such a dangerous, suspicious thing? The culprit must have saw that she had the note on hand and threw it into the pool to soak and destroy it. They were probably afraid of the ramifications of protecting the recipient and what effect it could have on the rest of us in the killing game. They probably thought that whoever is in the possession of the note must be linked to the game itself. Then wouldn't the culprit be one of the few who knew of the note's existence? That's right, she reacted when Zero first mentioned it. Say, you reacted when Zero mentioned the note earlier. You seen the note before? I've never seen it. I see. But how can that be? Lyle said he saw Say go into the pantry, and after she left, he saw that note. For this trial, the only ones who could have seen it were Say, Lyle, Echo, and me, right? The atrium's special gift was a lie. Then what's with the secret note being in the pantry earlier this afternoon, and what was the special gift? Because there was one, wasn't there? Or was he lying about that too? I imagine Pandora herself must have left it there, seeing as she was utilizing the ingredients from the pantry to make breakfast this morning. She just left it there? Then why is there a similar note in the spa's pool? She couldn't have left it out of her possession if it's supposedly a note to be kept in secrecy. Wait a minute, then there are 2 notes? But still know where those notes came from in the first place. None of these random details are making any sense. I'm also having a hard time sorting out relevant information. Indeed, it's becoming difficult to define what is truth, what happened when, and why things are as they are. Can we try to lay down a timeline of events? I could clear our heads and straighten things out, if anything. Timeline of events? Yes, I think that could help. I noticed a handful of discrepancies that could use clearing up. So I ought to take the events back to last night when Pandora showed me the secret note. The note seems to be the biggest complication. Pandora pulled me aside to show me the secret note at well, bedtime is 10, right? So it must have been 11, or it must have been 9. No? Okay. No. The lights started to dim during our conversation. Lights dimming indicates nighttime, which isn't at 9 p.m. Okay, 10 p.m.? That's it. Yes, it was 10 p.m. I remember the lights started to dim during our conversation, indicating the start of nighttime. The following morning, which was earlier today, we can assume Pandora must have been up earlier than everyone else and began preparing breakfast for us. A small group of us had breakfast and conversed about the forced motor question, which rang at 9 a.m. That's right. Is he nodding? Are they nodding? The forced motor question announcement rang in at 9 a.m. We briefly touched on the topic, but ultimately didn't feel any motivation to conduct any sort of killing, likely to the chagrin of the announcer. Afterwards, I had planned to go back to my room, but Art stopped me and we went around asking the other students about the question. We were occupied with asking until 12, because Art ended up hanging out with Lyle, right? Doesn't align with what I remember? Okay. Oh, 3. Yes, that's it. But just before 3, Art and I ran into Lyle as he was going into his room. We talked to him a little bit about the question, but he had little to say about the matter. During our conversation, he brought to our attention the secret note, the same secret note Pandora had the night before. Lyle claimed that someone had left the note in the pantry, right? That's right. The person who was last in the pantry before him was Say? That's it. Lyle claims he saw Say scurry from the second floor atrium to the pantry and back out again. After Lyle showed us the disarmed door and the secret note, Art and Lyle went off on their own, and I went to the study at 3 p.m. While I was in the study, another announcement rang in and started playing some sort of jarring motivational music that once again attempted to start the killing. The motivational music began at 4? That's right. I recall the announcer saying the time. I ran out of the study in a panic, trying to find any of the other students. In the atrium, I saw a shadowy figure at the top of the stairs. I followed them but lost track of them, which instead led me to discover Pandora's body. If Elena was able to keep up with the shadowy figure, perhaps this trial would have been over sooner. But it's strange, I couldn't seem to add anything up despite how much we knew. Or rather, perhaps there was some other unforeseen force factored in that contributed to Pandora getting killed. Sorry. There had to be something missing. I felt an uneasy anticipation tugging at me, something willing me to continue the pursuit of whatever force caused this mess. I had to try. Uncovering the truth was more difficult than I thought, but Pandora would tell me not to give up. To try to narrow down where this strange factor's weak point was. I thought about the scenario from the starting point of when the note was revealed, since it was a topic of contention. Perhaps I ought to think backwards from Pandora's death to see if there were any holes. Pandora was killed in the spa lounge. False. No, we've already established there's no other room she could have been killed in. Okay. True. I guess this game doesn't want us to suspend disbelief. Yes, there weren't any signs of her body being moved. But before she was killed, what was Pandora's speculated state in the spa lounge? Relaxed. That reminds me of the end of Ace Attorney 5 and 6 cases. We're able to assume she was relaxed in the spa lounge because the lounge is soundproof. We'll learn that the spa lounge has soundproof qualities. If Pandora was in there with the door closed, she would likely not have been disturbed. Wait a minute. When I first entered the spa lounge, I was initially under the impression that there was more motivational music playing within. Little did I know it was only playing because I had thrown the door open, running ruining the soundproof quality of the room. However, someone noted that they were unaware of the music until they moved from one area to the next. The fact is, the climbing center and jazz club were already occupied, and neither Cyrus nor Lyle claimed they were with company. This person could have left the only remaining room that shared the soundproof quality of the other two. Why was Pandora seemingly so relaxed in the spa? She was reclined, and there weren't any signs of a struggle in the whole room. There must have been the obnoxious music playing in the spa too, so I doubt she would have stayed. That's strange indeed. I certainly couldn't concentrate on the climbing grips once it started. That music was so annoying, I didn't know it was playing until I was outside. Where was Art? More importantly, Echo, did you bonk your head or something? The spa lounge is soundproof. There it is. Who was behind the spa lounge and motivational music discrepancy? Zero? Zero himself was the one who brought up the fact that the spa lounge is soundproof. Oh, okay. The spa lounge and motivational music discrepancy? Art? By making a remark of the change between locations, the culprit could have only been in the spa lounge before the motivational music. By that logic, the culprit must have shared the room with the victim. Or must have been in the spa lounge with Pandora before she died. Oh, shit. It was Art? I hope not. Everyone, I think I have the full picture. When I was with you, you were totally spaced out for a second. Be quiet, you. Oh, yes, ma'am. Echo, was there something we were missing? Yeah, I think something might have slipped right under us. Been looking at this under the guise that the motivational music had everything to do with the murder. However, there is a discrepancy in that thinking. Pandora was never exposed to it, yet she wound up victim to the effects of it. As we discussed and discovered, all second-floor rooms are soundproof from outside noise when the door is closed. Case in point, Cyrus leaving the climbing center doors open and Lyle undisturbed in the jazz club. But then I noticed someone said something strange. They mentioned they weren't aware of the music either. That is, until they exited a presumably soundproof room. Neither Cyrus nor Lyle ever encountered anyone during their stay, so by process of elimination, the only room this person could have exited would be the spa lounge. I don't know if anyone else picked up on it, but I think I know who the culprit is. Art, did you kill Pandora? Art? Hang on. That can't be. Please yield. Echo, this thought of yours, it's awfully bold of you to point the finger at someone so conclusively. Well, it's only a shred of an idea, but it's the only piece that fits. If we put the timeline together beginning from when Art and I separated at 3 p.m., it's not unreasonable to assume that this crime was conducted during a smaller window, after Art and Lyle separated and before the motivational music. It's been stated several times that Lyle was by himself in the jazz club, so given the circumstance... What? You're all just going to listen to that tiny impossible statement? Art, say something. Don't let them tell you what's what. It's nonsense. What? In fact, he was with me in the jazz club until 4 p.m. Yeah, isn't that right? Lyle, you must know that we are beyond the veil of smoke and mirrors at this point. What are you implying? It's far too late for you to defend him. You two were together, it would have been mentioned ages ago. That shadow I saw at the top of the stairs. It must have been Art. Excuse me. Playing the spa lounge toward the atrium. He must not have known there was distressing music playing outside the spa. Otherwise, he wouldn't have let slip that he noticed a shift in music when leaving the spa after the fact. Lyle, please, think about the events in your head. As much as I hate to admit it, there's only one answer I can think of. Even though this is all speculative, and I want nothing more than not to believe it, this is the only ammunition we have. Art, we're friends, aren't we? Please, if we're wrong, just tell us we're wrong. If this is all untrue, we can put this debacle behind us. Echo, do you remember what I told you when you asked me about the force motive question? Yeah? Oh, you said you liked playing golf, but you haven't expanded your interest outside of golfing. Yeah, because they would never let me. A terrible existence, being the ultimate golfer for them. All day I stand around in the sun listening to jerks pitch false interest and crummy business ideas to each other. I'm not playing golf. I'm just here to look good while the suits are off playing corporate deception and back scratching. They made me hate golf. So that moto question, it made me think about what I was doing. I wasn't having fun anymore. Even though I'm great at it, I'm the ultimate golfer. Even if that's the case, I didn't feel like me anymore. It's weird. I've had more fun here hanging out with everyone, not indulging my talent, even though it's the thing that landed me here in the first place. Kept thinking about the FMQ, about how I hate this part of me that blessed me with an opportunity to hang out with all of you fun people. Before I knew it, I wandered into the spa lounge for some peace and quiet. I thought no one was in there, but Pandora was there, quiet as a mouse. I didn't even notice her until I sat right next to her. She was so nice. Good afternoon, Art. Care to join me? Are you alright? I didn't scare you, did I? Oh, no, I just didn't notice you when I came in. You know how it is. It is somewhere else and all. I see. Art, may I ask something? What's up? I believe I heard about you influencing a merger between yours and Lyle's school, am I correct? Yeah, that was a while ago. That's such an amazing accomplishment. I could only wish to achieve something half as grand as that. Oh, it's nothing. I hardly remember it. You insist. It's nothing to sneeze at either. I'm sure the students of both schools have benefited greatly from the feat. Yeah, probably, but I wouldn't know. I only went to school for a year before I was pulled out to focus on golfing. I'm a private tutor to cover the difference. Oh, that's quite a generous offer. I hope you can use your talents and position to help more people. I don't know if it's that big of a deal. I have faith in you, Art. In fact, I believe all of us have the ability to induce beneficial change like that if we're given the opportunity. Ultimate students, we have the power of passion and influence in our hands, just like them. Hope we all use it for the good of the future. I know we will. Yes, at last I finally found them. I didn't know what to say. Powers of passion, influencing change isn't as rosy as she chalks it up to me. The only thing that my talent ever got me was trapped. I used to golf all the time with my grandfather before he passed away. After that, I was taken in by some company who would take care of me, 3 square meals and a comfortable place to live. I always played perfect games, perfect but boring, day in and day out. It was the same thing. I thought I was there to show my skill, but every game was just an outside business conference. Eventually, I honed my skills enough to hit a hole-in-one, no matter what. I played short games no one would ever care to watch. But I ace it and they love it. I whiff it and they eat it up. At that point, they didn't care what I did. Using my talent for the good of the future, what about my future? I didn't want to stay with that group for the rest of my life. I thought escaping the preservation project would finally free me. Escaping to the preservation project would finally free me from that imprisonment. But everything's all messed up. When Pandora closed her eyes, I felt a burning. She said she found them. What was she talking about? It was obvious, right? I didn't know what to say. I just took the note she had and threw it in the pool. I wanted to go away. And everything happened in slow motion. It was like my body had moved on its own. My head was ringing, my hands narrowed onto the towel on her shoulders, and everything was red. It was like there was a fire in my head. When I heard her gasp, my hands were tense, and eventually, I'm sorry. Damn. I'm sorry, Lyle. Just trying to have fun with you earlier. Huh? My good-for-nothing talent made me despise golf. Never had fun with it since people discovered they could use me for their business deals. Running around with you, figuring out a big puzzle was the most genuine fun I've had in a while. Thanks, Lyle. What the? No way. No way. This isn't real. You're just part of the fake game, right? You didn't kill anyone. You're an actor. Tell me you're an actor and that whole story was fake. Art, tell me this isn't real. It was miserable. Like all of us, Lyle was struggling to come to terms with the fact that Art, of all people, Lyle. Is this the truth? We have a shred of evidence to go with a confession. I don't know if I can point out a culprit based on such little proof. Missy, you want to keep discussing even after his piteous confession? I'm able to have my doubts, am I not? Can't accept it, and I'm sure the rest of you are having trouble just the same. Doubting is the only thing keeping me from fully realizing the weight of a lofty, impossible to swallow truth. I mean, this motive, blame the guy, yeah. I mean, I don't know, this isn't... I was thinking in my head, like, this isn't a convincing motive in the slightest, if I'm being honest with you. Like, if... So, I'm hoping that it's someone else, because... And I'm hoping that maybe they just threatened him into fessing up if it got to that point. Is man, what a stupid, easy, simple blame the cis straight male. We don't know that. We don't know he's cis and straight. I mean, he just admitted he was having the most fun of his life with another man, so that's a little fruity. And with that wolf cut, you're not fooling anybody. Gay boy. But yeah, I don't know. This is if it ends up being, I don't think it's gonna be that, especially with that they're going like this. If I can doubt, I can still cling to the possibility of Art not committing such a horrible crime. Missy, you're deluding yourself with a false hope, just like the unfortunately misguided Lyle. Such thinking is unsustainable. There's no need for doubt. Kanan? I have definitive proof. Kanan! It was small, but it was unmistakable. Art was... Oh. Maybe she did it. That's a bit convenient. Art was seated at the base of the atrium's centerpiece globe with his head in his hands. Thank you for the stretch, Kenna. Art was seated at the base of the atrium's centerpiece globe with his head in his hands. The photo looked to be shot from the second floor entryway. That means the shadowy figure I saw was... And that was me, following Art as he fled from the spa lounge. Huh? I was in the foyer, remember? So when I saw Art emerge from the spa lounge, I went to tail him, following him as far as the entrance to the atrium. And then I heard you shout for help, and I did an about face. Little did I know I would stumble upon the very thing he was running from. I don't know if it... I don't think it's her, because she's been so mysterious so far. I feel like there's gotta be more to her. What the heck is this? Colin sure is a weird photographer. So, does that settle your doubt, Missy? But why wait to reveal such damning evidence? You think I want his blood on my hands? I presented this photograph. We know the culprit for certain, thanks to me. Because I'm always unlucky enough to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. Don't want to bear that weight on my conscience. I know it's selfish, but take it or leave it. Then, I suppose it's settled. We can agree this is unquestionably the truth. There is no room for doubt. Seems we've all come to consensus. In that case, it's voting time. This is the final phase of the class trial. Vote for who you think is the culprit. After all that jabbering, you'd better have a solid answer. Don't let any of that sentimental doubt or faith or whatever keep you from saving yourselves. It's voting time. Really? I thought that they... Okay. Well then, I guess it is Art. That's unfortunate. Cute. Guilty. Are they gonna have like a execution? What animal is Monokuma this time? I think he's a guy. He's a twink. And we have a winner. The culprit responsible for the murder of Pandora Esper is none other than the ultimate golfer, Arturo Compompiano. Oof, took long enough. Let's try to do better next time, alright? It was short as hell. What do you mean? Took long enough. But for now, it's time for the grand finale. You've reached your exciting destination at the end of your first class trial. The destination being punishment time. They ran out of animals, so they decided to start using gays. At least they started with twinks. Yeah. Punishment time. Well, yeah. Eye for an eye, right? He was caught. Too bad. Recap Rule 5. Expedite the process toward the ultimate prize. To expedite the process toward the ultimate prize, one must kill a fellow student without getting caught. Oh, but what happens when they do get caught? Recap trial rules. Determine and vote correctly, and the culprit alone will receive proper retribution and perish at the hands of your group decision. It's bizarre. If it weren't for Echo's conveniently specific memory and Kanan's terrible luck pulling her to witness him, Art might have gotten away. You have anything to say for yourself, Arturo Compompiano? This is what the Preservation Project wanted, isn't it? Kill and live on to prove your strength of other ultimates? What, do you think you're gonna live on? Whoops. You clearly don't have the emotional constitution to carry the people's future. What? No. You let your fears and anxieties eat at you until you broke. Stop. Why, I'm shocked Pandora didn't live. Please. She lost to you, a weak, vulnerable, pathetic. Couldn't bear to hear anymore. That's... Whoops. Enough. A silvery voice rose from somewhere in the room. It was the other announcer. The voice that welcomed us to this place was here? Zero, stop this voice. Oh, you. I believe I got rid of you, but you still came back? So weird. See what I did there, Eve? Eve? These students revealed the culprit. Was that not sufficiently entertaining enough for you? Or is it maybe, I don't know. Yeah, they sure did their thing, but geez, it'd take a while. Alright, fine. His face was so rich with despair, I couldn't help it. It was fun for you too, right? Stop this. Fine, fine. I'll get on with it. Goodbye, Arturo Compompiano, the ultimate golfer. Glad I never have to say that last name again. Your execution awaits, and so it goes. Zero's hologram warped out and a huge rumbling sound tore through the room. Something was coming. Oh shit. Courtroom floor rumbled beneath us. One of the trial grounds walls slid open, revealing a dark pit beyond the walls. From within, a golf cart came shrieking out, drifting and circling our stands to stop squarely behind Art. Are they just gonna say what happens? They're not even gonna like draw it? Mechanized arms swept Art off his feet, pulling him into the cart that had hardly stopped for a second before peeling back in the darkness that it came from. Art became sequestered from us. All we could do was watch in horror as his fate was projected on a screen in the middle of the trial grounds. We need more effort. Art was tossed unceremoniously into what appeared to be a sand bunker in the middle of a giant miniature golf course. In a daze, he rose coughing up sand and meeting the gaze of a kitsch bear statue holding a raised driver. The bear twitched, its metal body groaned warily, the arms shook to life. A swing tunneled through the air. Art gasped. Okay. Execution by extreme hazard. That's it? Bro. I I don't know. I don't know. This is I'm a little disappointed. I'm a little disappointed. I don't want to be like I said, I don't want to be overly critical because this is like a fan game and it's not I wasn't expecting like for the record, I wasn't expecting like a full on like, animation or anything because I know how difficult that is, but like not even like a 4 panel comic or something, like just a picture of him sitting down with ink over it and then them saying what happened. This I don't know, man. I don't know. I like this is definitely not I'm not feeling great about it. This is my thing too is like I really when I played Eden's Garden, it was so promising because it had literally everything that I would hope for in like a Rampa, and then they just had to go and fuck it up. They had the fucking the dudes running it. One of the people running it had to just like be a terrible person. You know. What's up, Josh? Good to see ya. But so I don't know. Like this has kind of been my attitude. Like I've been trying to look for Rampas, and a lot of people have. I think it's called another. Is it another? There is like a really popular one that everybody talks about, but it's very much like a an RPG maker situation, which is not really something that I would like. Um, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna keep looking. I'm gonna keep looking. I'm gonna save in case maybe we return to this. But honestly, that just really kind of solidified my disappointment in this whole thing. Um, yeah, I don't know, man. The problem is, like I said, I don't want to be like overly harsh. So I don't want to say too much. But honestly, like I don't know. Bonzo be tweeting about this game later. Garbanzo doesn't pay attention. Um, he's looking at the colors. I I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed. This was not very good. This was not very good. I don't want to be I feel like an asshole. I feel like an asshole. But like this was rough. This was rough. I mean, the motive wasn't even convincing. Like you really expect. I don't know, man. I don't want to be mean. I don't want to be an asshole. Because, like, first of all, can I just say, to make a game at all and to finish a Rampa is extremely rare. There's this game is finished. Um, but this was the first case. Like, you got to get me hooked, man. And it really didn't. So I don't know. We may not be continuing Danganronpa Labs. I feel bad, but I will say, I mean, it's an amazing feat to finish a game. You know what I mean? It's extremely impressive. Um, not something that I've done, but I guess let's finish the chapter at least. That was worth the wait, I think. Not really. And it's funny. He hated golf, but little did he know all those business deals he sat in on. Those deals were the ones that brought in funding for the preservation project, the very thing he wanted to escape to. He thought he could fly away, but it turns out that his influence was unescapable. Life sure is cruel, isn't it? It was horrifying. A disgusting display mocking art's ultimate title ended his life. He hated his talent, and in his last moments it was all he saw. We all stood completely and utterly shocked. No one said a word. No one moved a muscle. An unmistakable sinking feeling froze us over. Despair. Huh. In return for entertaining me, how about I answer one question that's been drilling into your minds? Where are we? This isn't the preservation project at all, is it? Oh, I said one question only. Beloved courtroom resides in the Monokuma superstructure. Remember those earthquakes? Those aren't going to bother us thanks to civil engineering. The wonders of modern technology never cease, huh? So cool. Hope that satisfied your curiosity. Most certainly did not, you cad. Zero. That silvery voice spoke once more. You are a reaper of despair. Whatever you do ends in futility and provides no benefit to anyone. No benefit to anyone except you and your horrible Schadenfreude. Do not think for a moment you've won. I will continue to fight back even after what you've done to me. A sliver of light remains. Echo Pine. Huh? You received the title of Ultimate Memory. Memory? Ha ha ha. What is that? We have a tactician, photographer, and silly puzzle master. Good memory for their skills is already required, wouldn't you think? I won't even humor you with this one. The talent isn't even comparable to something remotely useful. Ultimate analytical prowess like that one pathetic girl. Come on, you've really given up on trying, haven't you? It's no fun having any competition. Fine. You think that will give these people hope? NP6, your queen is in trouble. What? I have a little information neither you nor the students will like. Cyrus Surik is someone to be wary of. Hmm? He isn't who he says he is. He's not a normal Ultimate student like the rest of you. He's much more involved in this game than you think. Ultimate Charisma is a terrible cover talent. You're all truly clueless if you believed that. Zero, stop. You've meddled enough. What, and you haven't? I've been given this power for a reason, you know, and I'm going to use it as I please. This isn't the answer. Whatever. Courtroom is closed. These losers can marinate in despair for a night, but tomorrow we'll get it going again. Zero. Shut up. I'm tired of your poor, useless attempts at creating hope. You will never win. You're a failure. With that odd display, the two holograms cut out. What? What just happened? I was on the verge of tears. My whole body shook violently. There's a weight at the bottom of my heart dragging my whole body down. Felt like my head was going to split. Being trapped in a strange luxury mansion where I seemingly didn't belong. Stuck with a group of revered students with a so-called ultimate talent. Getting involved up in a class trial where we had to investigate someone killing someone else. Concluding with gruesome execution as if everything else wasn't enough. How is this happening? I want to go to bed. For a long, long, long time. Before I knew it, my limp body dove to the floor and I keeled over. My heavy eyes closed wearily, and I allowed myself to sink into the velvety darkness. Chapter 1 end. 8 students remain. I don't know. A deep pulsing darkness filled every crevice and fold, bleeding through razor-thin cracks, drifting unevenly between a nauseating black sea and a stifling destitute vacuum. Obscurity murmured and bubbled beneath the heavy velvet pall. Competing vibrations through the void pounded and shook the air with a stiff, rich chord. The staccato hum echoed, threatening to break the eclipsing shadow. Echo. 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 Ouch! Opened my eyes as a swift and sharp pain struck my face. Hey, what gives? Missy was standing over me, her hand poised in a way that suggested she was the one who had firmly woken me up. I'm sorry, Echo, but I had to wake you up. I shook you, but you didn't react, so... I blinked several times as I rubbed my left cheek, my vision adjusting to the surroundings. It seemed I was in either Missy or Ashley's personal room. I sat up in the bed to see Ashley sitting at the foot of the bed just in front of me. Missy was on my left in a spare chair. Ashley, Missy, what happened? Well, for starters, it's about 9:15 p.m. You seem to have passed out after the trial earlier this morning. Ashley and I were concerned, so we've been monitoring you to make sure you were safe. However, I was worried. You stopped breathing in your sleep. Stopped breathing? Can't have you leaving us so shortly after we lost our other two friends. Hope that your newfound title of Ultimate Memory does not begin to fail you so soon. Ultimate Memory. Ultimate Memory. That's right. Just yesterday I thought I was an ordinary student with no extreme talent or skills, and yet, in the courtroom a revelation came to light and I was given the unique title of Ultimate Memory. But whatever that entailed, I wasn't too thrilled. As despite that revelation, it wasn't the strangest thing to occur. Ooh. Bit back my words in tears thinking about Pandora and art. The truth was hard to swallow. Throughout the trial, many of us struggled to find footing in the discussions. None of us wanted to believe any of it. The murder, and following it, the execution. The three of us sat in silence, haunted by the dark happenings of the courtroom. I looked solemnly at the other two. Missy and Ashley's faces told all, a tapestry of remorse and distress. Well, what's important is that you're alright now, Echo. Yeah, thanks you two. I'm relieved. I'm honestly so... That's the one thing I will commend this game on. That they weren't, you know, they could have taken the super predictable route and killed the best friend off, and they didn't. So that is one thing that I will say. I genuinely didn't expect Art to be the killer. So there's that. It's just I feel like it wasn't big enough. It wasn't big enough for me. The response wasn't he didn't put up a fight with it. There was no like pomp and circumstance to it. You know, I'm really trying my best to avoid like I don't know. I don't want to expect too much out of this game. I know I said I expected like a little bit more from the execution, and I did. I do feel like that was a little silly that they didn't even do like a 4-panel comic. But you know, notice how I haven't said how I haven't commented that there's no voice acting. I haven't commented that there's only 10 players in this game. That there's only 4 chapters, you know, because all of those things honestly are not that important to me in the grand scheme of things. What's important to me is if the story is compelling enough. That's why I feel like the Danganronpa games are so impactful, right? Because of the story and all the twists and turns. And I just feel like they didn't really give us anything. They didn't really give us anything to work with here, you know, anything to chew on. Like, yeah, there's definitely mysteries, but I don't know if we're gonna continue this. I feel like it's not giving me enough to work with. Also, I do feel like the characters are a little dry. Um, Especially, because there's a smaller cast than typically. Usually there's 16 in these games. So I kind of expected a little bit more eccentricism and not really a lot. It's also 4 chapters instead of 6. I'm bringing these things up, right? Because they do bolster my points. But that being said, I don't want to diss this game too much. I feel bad, and maybe this is what it's like for a lot of Fanganrampas. I think maybe my expectations were just like so high after playing Eden's Garden, and now I'm like left with this like pit in my heart that I'm like, are we ever gonna get anything remotely close to Project Eden's Garden now that the project's been canned? I don't know. Overall, I'm just sad. I'm just sad. I don't know. All right, give me 1 sec. I am going to put my laptop away. Uh, oh, whoops. What did I unplug? I unplugged something I wasn't supposed to, but everything's still up and running.